All right, everybody, welcome back to The Country Called Us. We'll just wait here for a couple minutes to see if we get any more people coming in. Late slackers.
All right, I'll
I
call you
was
back.
a minute late because YouTube had to buffer for some reason. How is everybody? Hope everybody's having a good day. Oh, yes. There we go. Got that up and ready. Oh, I'm not too bad. How are you doing? Talking to you.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, my hair is a mess. I usually wear it in a ponytail, but today I decided to wear it down.
Hey, buddy, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing, Prepared? How's the Necessary Toxic doing today? Are we having a beautiful, wonderful day?
Why can't I bring up?
What are you trying to do there? Hit the job button there.
Oh.
But yes, today's a bright, sunshiny day. Yeah, everything's great. Intense mentals. What's going on, Alex? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's looking like fall here pretty much too. Prepared. I went outside on my porch today and found a bunch of leaves on my porch, on my car. I'm ready for fall, though. Believe me, I'm ready for it.
It can skip fall and go right to spring.
Oh, I hear you, Alex. 2 kids, that tires you out, buddy.
Leeches. Only my kid.
I like fall. I like winter. I don't mind the snow. I just don't like the cold. Now, she's grown up in the snow all her life the same as I have. And definitely hates it, definitely afraid of it. Ain't that right? Necessary Toxic. Talk about the time going up over the mountain when there was barely snowflakes.
Oh, whatever. You know what? We're not going to get into that right now.
Right, you can't drive let alone in the snow, no doubt. Everybody knew it all. Text everybody knew it all. Shine. But yeah, today we're going to talk about. I want to talk about some things that we've learned and are learning, and things that we want to learn for when we get to our homestead. Yeah, sounds like you, huh? Right. Yeah, Alex, I hear you, buddy. Listen, I know I was your age when I had two. I know. But today, like I said, we're going to talk about things that we've learned so far, things that we already know pretty much, or things that we've learned in the process, things that we plan on learning, we'd like to learn more of. Welcome, everybody. Everybody drop a like and thumbs up in the chat, please. But yeah, we're going to learn things. We want to learn some new things. Obviously, it's a totally different world going from the city to Homestead. It's going to be, obviously, everybody, we talk about this 100 times, a lot life-changing experience. So far, Trisha's our resident gardener. She knows some of that. I don't know anything about gardening. My thumbs aren't green. You know what I mean? They might be,
Last time I checked, mine weren't green either.
But, you know what I mean? But, you have some knowledge of it. And we've been watching a few videos on gardening. One of my favorites is Salty Dog Homestead. If any of you are interested in gardening, he does a magnificent job of showing you everything. I mean, the guy, he gets really deep. He's really, really nice guy. Gardening is one of them. Again, we've down to electrical, plumbing, framing, all that. I mean, I know some of it, but I don't know all of it. I've worked a lot of job sites, a lot of construction jobs. But like I was explaining to Trish the other day, a lot of the jobs I worked at, you had people that, if you had a question, you could go back and say, hey, what do you do here? Hey, what should I do here? Hey, Sparkle. Oh, Sparky, my bad. This thing was a firefighter for 12 years. So, right. Yeah. Knots too, Alex. You're right. Yeah, definitely. You were a firefighter, huh? Knots are definitely important. You got knots in your hair. You know about knots, don't you?
Oh, all kinds.
Yeah. I figured, I don't have any hair to have knots, so I figured maybe girls
all
know
kinds.
about that. Everybody, come on. Everybody wants to say hi to everybody. Come on. Come on. Come on up here. Up.
Odin.
Say hi. Everybody wants to say hi. Look, Odin, look, say hi. Oh, you want to give lovings, huh? You want to give lovings, huh? No, not in the mouth. Well, he's going to be our homestead dog. No, he's going to be an indoor dog. He would make it out there out as a guardian livestock dog, would you? You wouldn't make it. You're too spoiled, huh? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Like, come on, get on, go. But hey Tim, thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so gardening is new for me. That's going to be something new. So I've been watching a few channels on that. I'm watching some things on how to dig your own septic, how to put in your own water. A lot to that, digging water lines, multi hookups. How to put hot water hydrants, which are the little knobs in your yard, so you hook hoses to them and things like that. So you don't got one simple connection. We're gonna have like close to here. You want things close to your pens. Oh yeah, just chewing on his bone. He's excited. Fencing, different types of fencing: pig fencing, chicken fencing. Different types of fencing. Again, you got the metal fencing, you got wood fencing. Trisha's favorite fence, 4-board Kentucky
Kentucky
4-board fence. Learning some things on that. Just different ways to do things, because listen, like I said, there's so much stuff out there now that you have the capability to find it and figure it out. If you have a question, you have Google, you have YouTube, you have there's so much stuff out there that you can find to find information. This is the information era. So when it comes down to, like I said, I know plumbing, I know some electrical. Trish knows some electrical, huh?
Went to school for it.
Well, yeah, you didn't go to school for it. You went to high school for it.
Well, I took 2 years of it in high school.
In the end, and
I got a certificate in electrical technology.
And then Jason, he's in college to be a machinist. He can machine us parts we need. Yeah.
Right.
But it's like I was explaining to her, there's a lot to take in all at once. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of things to figure out. We decided on our next investment is going to be our generator, and we know where we're going, and we're going to get it. So that'll be one of the next videos, to keep an eye out for that, because we're pretty excited about that. That's one of the main things we need. We still need yet. So that's learning about that too, because listen, living in the city like this, you turn on you call the electric company and say, hey, turn on my electricity, give me a bill. Come turn on your switch, you got a light, you know what I mean? You don't got to worry about all that, you know what I mean? Trying to figure out, we've done how to get, showers and things when we first get there, how to set up, water stations for washing hands, dishes, things like how we're gonna go about that. Little things that you don't think about every day, because you turn on your faucet and it's there. You turn on your stove and it's there. You turn on your light switch and it comes on. Hopefully everybody has your lights, but in that situation, you have to bring that stuff with you. You have to make those things happen. They're not just already there in place. So that's the fun in it too, is that we get to create as we go. like you walk into your living room or your bedroom or your kitchen, and I don't like that light, that the socket there. I don't have enough sockets. I don't have enough. If I'd have did this my way, would have put the light switch over there and a socket over there and something over there. We do it all the time. You know what I mean? Or you don't have enough. So
Right.
now we can make sure that in the process of doing this, we can make sure that we have things where we want them, how we want them, that we have enough, and they're convenient for us. And that's what fun in itself is, planning and plotting and learning these new things and then figuring out how, what, when, where, and how, how, what, when, where, and how.
Right.
Yeah, now I sound like,
Now you sound like a broken record.
Yeah, pretty much him.
Yeah.
You should know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
But one of the things we were learning was how to, there's a million ways how to remove tree stumps. Watch this one guy the other day, Trish. He says, you drill a hole down through it, and he took bacon grease and he dumped it in there and let it sit for like a month, and it killed it. Yeah, I'm saying, what in the world? You know what I mean? And there's powders and pellets you can throw in there, and people do all kinds of crazy. Light them on fire; they'll burn for like 3 days straight. You know what I mean? That's going to be a big one, is removing tree stumps. I figured out my way to do it. I think the way that I figured out how to do it is going to be, in my opinion, the best way. Burning them and people dig them out, or run a backhoe, or all kinds of machinery used to pull them out. We're going to just chop the roots up and get a dig bar and pry it out. I think that's going to be.
It's not going to be the easiest, but.
No, but nothing about this is going to be easy. We know that.
We know that.
It's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot of information. And the closer we get, the more nervous I get. But I know that there's nothing stopping us, because this is what we want. And when you want something, it's worth it. Like I tell my kids all the time. We tell Shane, we tell all the kids. Ever since they were little, life is work. And, luckily for us, they've all gotten it so far. You know what I mean? The younger ones, Jackson, he's still got it. He's a good worker, but he's still got some time to set in hardcore with him. But yeah, it's an experience. What do you think you need to learn about?
Nothing. I know everything.
Oh, you know everything?
I know everything. Everything there is to learn, I have already learned it.
Is that right? So you don't think, you know how to cut down a tree by yourself?
No, that's what we have Shane for.
Oh, yeah, he's right. That's right. He wants to be a lumberjack, right?
Right. So he can come and cut them down.
Yeah, so we can just have Shane come and cut them down for cheap. Right, Shane? You going to come cut some trees down for us? Would like that. Yeah. I thought about that too. You know what I mean? But that gets kind of expensive. What are you doing, dog? Dog's trying to climb behind me. That gets kind of expensive and kind of scary. You know what I mean? My luck would be, I'm ready to blow up a tree and Jackson's out running around by it.
Right.
Because he's curious. He likes to get, you know what I mean? Trish got her little mini chainsaw. If you guys didn't see that video, it's posted. We got that new little mini chainsaw. Demonstrated it. I think it's a beast, man.
That's my chainsaw.
$30. I couldn't believe it. Beginning of the video, I looked kind of foolish because it caught me off guard.
$20 an hour? What?
$20 an hour. All right. Well, I don't know. Wait, hold up. $20 an hour, Shane. Didn't you want some of Mom's recipes that she gave you? I think that constitutes for some time, for some work time, don't you think? Some of the recipes you got from you?
Do you see this look, kid? Does it look like I'm going to pay $20 an hour?
Yeah, probably.
No.
Probably pay more than that, but we're only gonna pay him 20. You know what I mean? But that's going to be a big thing we're going to have to deal with is clearing trees, and that was something I had to learn too. I mean, I've used chainsaws, and that's what I paid. Nice. I've used chainsaws before, and of course I've cut trees, but never in an abundance of the fact that we're going to have to cut them now. Watching a guy on YouTube that cuts his trees out of his Homestead, and then he skins the bark off of them, and then you burn it, take a torch and burn it. So when you stick it in the ground, when it gets wet and the weather and stuff, it don't rot, because when you burn it, it kind of gives it that protective layer. And he uses them for posts, and right now he's building a chicken run out of and using those as posts, which was pretty smart. Hey, happy to see you too, Tina. Thanks a lot. Stopping by, or is that Jackson? I'm not sure which one it is.
That's Tina.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's too. Yes, too many words for Jackson.
It would be.
He didn't say about his dirt bike. Yet.
Right, Jackson would be like, "Hey, Dad,"
or he'd say, "Hey, my dad's buying me a dirt bike." But that's one of the main things. I mean, then you had to think about things we had to learn was, composting toilets. Again, you don't think about these things at first. Your first reaction is, oh, he's outside. That's what you did tell me that. First thing you think of, you don't think of it because, you're just, like I said, when you rent an apartment, you buy a house, your toilet's right there. You don't have to worry about it. These are things that we had to think about. The chemicals you have to use in them and how to use it and where to put it. And we also got a two cabin shower tent. One size for the toilet, one size for the shower. We'll be making a video on that here coming up in the next week or so. So it'll be up here in the next week or so. You guys can check that out.
Yeah, we just gotta wait till it stops raining.
Yeah, it's been raining, and it's not something we can do in the house. We have a couple things we need to review, but it's been raining the last couple of days, and it's not chilly, but it's getting there. Like I said, leaves on the ground. That's the other thing, I've been learning a lot about is, different zones. We're talking about zones today and
for gardening.
And planting things. Again, I don't know nothing about gardening, and I guess, different climates, they call them zones, and there's like, I don't know, 9, 10 zones.
I think there's like 8.
All right, Alex, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I think there's like 8 or 9 zones, and you have to know what zone you're in to know when to plant certain things, when not to plant certain things. I thought you just go out and dig some dirt up and throw some seeds in the ground, water them, and voila, there you go.
Nope, there's different months, and you can read them on the back of the packages, what zone it is, what months to plant them, and
see, I'm glad I found out about that before I started reading packages, because I'd have been real confused. Like, what do you mean zone? Are they talking about time zones?
Believe it or not, I mean, you would think that, but instead of the zones going left to right, when you put up the state map, it goes from bottom to top.
Right, because of the climate.
Right, because of the way the climate is.
Yeah. Again, that's pretty cool.
And, there's a lot of things that I learned that you can plant in the fall and harvest in the spring.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Onions and what?
Onions and
potatoes
and
there's a few things.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have super harsh winters, you can plant them, and they may not. They're growing, but you may not produce in the winter, but they'll produce early spring because they were planted in the fall. Like onions, for instance, they'll start blooming come first of spring, which was pretty cool. I'm like, I didn't know that either. And how to take care of the dirt over the fall and winter. Don't just leave it bare and just leave nothing there.
And if you have like a greenhouse or something, there's herbs that you can plant and harvest all winter long.
And we're talking about hoop houses. which is a big, like a greenhouse, but it's shaped like a, hoop, I guess, right? And it has like, that tarp all over it. And
No, we're gonna have a greenhouse, Tina.
No. Definitely don't go without potatoes. I know how you are. I just made fried potatoes the other day. Put some egg in there.
As long as I have a greenhouse, I can plant anything.
Yeah, we can pretty much, that's the thing of being self-sustaining is with, learning how to make these things, learning how, a greenhouse. Listen, a greenhouse was where you went and bought flowers from. You know what I mean? Damn stink bugs. You went and bought flowers from. You know what I mean? At a nursery, the greenhouse. You went in the greenhouse because that's where the flowers were at. I don't know. I never really, did stuff like that. Right? Definitely. We'll definitely have potatoes. We'll have red potatoes, white potatoes, yellow potatoes.
You have all kinds of things as long as your greenhouse is warm enough. You can, there's all kinds of things. Like I said, it all depends on what it is. I mean, you can plant in the fall and harvest in the spring, and then start your garden, your regular summer garden in the spring and harvest it in the fall. I mean, you can plant almost anything. I mean, when I was little, I mean, my grandpa had a garden and he had, oh my goodness, you have no idea. There was cauliflower, broccoli, green beans, peas. He planted potatoes.
Oh, I know, Tina. You can't wait to learn too. You and Trish will be on that garden, boy.
I mean, you name it. You can, watermelons, cantaloupes. I mean, you can plant anything.
What's that thing? Not horseradish. What's that thing you like to eat? You said you used to eat out of your grandfather's garden. Not a horseradish. What's it called?
Rhubarb.
Yeah.
Rhubarb. That's one of those plants that you have to plant by itself because it will take over.
And that's the other thing we're learning about is what plants you don't want in your main garden. Like, say, for instance, you're just flat ground garden. You wouldn't put like we're talking about mint, for instance. You wouldn't put mint in there. Mint you may want to grow in a like a box. What do you call that?
A raised garden bed.
A raised garden bed. See, I'm trying to learn these things in a raised garden bed because mint, like watermelon, you'll have a lot of volunteer plants if you don't pay attention. If you give it space, it's going to take over.
It's going to take over everything. And there's a lot of things that we've been learning too that to keep like the bugs and your rabbits and
marigold, certain plants like marigolds and mint and thyme, lavender,
or is it no? It's lavender,
lilac.
Lilac will keep you plant lilac bushes around the property and it'll keep. Right.
And you plant these. Not lilac bushes, obviously, but the lavender and the mint and the.
If you plant those on the outside of the garden, it'll not only deter your rabbits and your raccoons and your groundhogs and the deer and all that, but it'll also deter the bugs.
Ladybugs are big ones. Beetles.
Right, the beetles that eat your plants, and it'll deter those, and it'll attract them to that. This way you can have like the bees that come in and pollinate what you need to have pollinated and what have you, and it'll keep the bad bugs away and let the good bugs in.
Right, and then like I was watching, a guy said he needed some compost, but he didn't have enough because it was just him and his wife, so they didn't make a whole lot of compost throughout the year, and he needed more compost because he has a pretty big garden, and he went out and bought compost from somebody who, that's kind of like what they do. They make and sell compost. And I never would have known that people did that for like a living, how you sell wood or you sell, fruits and vegetables. People sell compost. And he said it would have cost him, he got 4,000 pounds of compost. It would have cost him $400 at a box store.
I thought you said 400.
Oh, yeah, $400. Yeah.
It was 400 pounds. I thought.
No, he got 4,000 pounds.
Oh.
He got 4,000 pounds. It would have cost him $400 at a box store. he got it for $40. $40 for 4,000 pounds of compost.
And you can't go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pay anything less than $40 for a 25 to a 35-pound bag of compost.
Right, yeah. I mean, that is pretty smart, right? Like, I didn't know people do stuff like that. You know what I mean? That was news to me. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? He said, yeah, it would cost him $400 to go to a box store to buy it by bag.
To buy what he needed.
And he bought it off a guy for $40. He had a big flat trailer full of it. And he said, you know, because it's coming into fall, coming into winter, he doesn't have any winter crops or fall crops. So what he does is he throws compost over top of the dirt that's there now, and then right before the first frost, he'll go and till it, mix all that compost in with the regular dirt.
Throw some more down.
Then throw some more down.
And then just let it sit.
And then let it sit.
And then come spring,
it'll be
you till it again.
Right.
Because it's sat, you'll till it again, and it's basically like fresh dirt.
It'll be all nice and fertilized and have, you know, all the nutrients. And
like you start tilling it, you know, before the last frost, you just start tilling it, and you keep adding, you know, your compost for your nutrients and stuff like that. You can add, you know, other nutrients in with it and stuff, but you just keep tilling it once a week and keep doing that. And then by the time it's time for you to start planting, everything will be, you know, what you right,
you'll be ready.
You'll be ready to plant.
The acidic levels, like, again, I didn't know this either. pH levels,
acidic
levels,
yeah, right.
You know, like you can use lime, you can use, a lot of people, you know, big farmers, you know what I mean, they use manure and things like that. Which we, you know, obviously at one point in time, you know, we can probably do that also. But
we're not going to have a big garden to start out.
No, we want to start small, but think big. So we're going to save enough room where we can branch out when needed, but we're going to start small. Me and Jackson had a conversation. Me and Jackson was having a conversation when he was over here on the weekend, and he said, I asked him, what does he want in the garden? You know what he told me? He said, oh, I wanted strawberries. I said, well, listen, you and me both. We'll have, listen, I told him, well, we're going to do a bunch of strawberries, but I got to be careful. I was looking that up too. Strawberries are a type of plant that like to take over. If you don't have just one area specifically just for strawberries, that's why when you go to a strawberry field, that's why it's just a big strawberry field and there's nothing else in that field.
That's why you would need like the raised garden beds.
Right. That's when you would use a raised garden bed. They don't just make the field all strawberries because that's what they're selling, but because no matter what they would put in there with it, it would take over anyway. So what's the point? But there's a lot more to it than I thought. Like I was learning again. I learned that, you know, when in like a wooded area, large wooded area, you get trees that kind of like hog the sun from each other. So the tree, instead of growing straight up, it'll bend towards the sun, which I kind of thought that was what was going on when you see a tree that's all crooked and stuff. I just thought maybe, you know, something happened to it or it got a disease or something. But it'll bend towards the sun to try to get out from a tree that's above it. So it'll try to bend behind it like this towards the sun to get to the sun. So that's another thing we're going to have to do is, you know, think about that too, you know. Not only think about taking down trees for clearing, but taking down trees to save trees. You know what I mean? You don't want to, right? Because if there's not enough room, they're not getting enough sunlight. It's going to kill a lot more trees than what it normally would. You don't want that. So it's a lot to learn. It's a learning experience, and it's become a lot to take in at times. And of course, you're going to learn more as you go. We're all pretty much hands-on learners. Who's going to be there? I know, hands-on is the way to be. And especially, you know, Jackson, he's real amped about wanting to learn everything. And, you know, him and his buddies were in the woods cutting down little branches for their fire the other day. And he was just too geeked about it. Asked him if he can get one little hand saws. And I said, yeah. I said, he wanted a hatchet. I said, I think you're a little too young for a hatchet yet, but we'll see. You know, maybe when we move, you know, something we can work on together. And teach him how to use it safely, how to sharpen it. I learned. I know how to do that. I know how to sharpen hatchets, knives, axes, motor blades. Let me. Trish is going to come in here, and I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. You guys give me 2 seconds.
Are we going to trade sides?
Yeah, trade sides. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
So you do some talking.
Oh, what am I going to talk about?
Talk about things you feel like you need to learn.
Oh, also another thing I was telling Jeff about. This is funny because he had no clue until I told him when. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. Yeah. When you're doing a garden, you also got to make sure that one, not all of your plants are directly in the sun all day, every day, because that can kill your plants. And you have to, okay, for instance, when we do a garden, I want to do like a trellis so that my tomato vines can grow. But also, you have to have it in the right direction to where the sun's coming up and then the sun's going down so that you can get sun on everything, but they're not directly on top of it. So that would be, your tomato plants would cover a lot of it, because if it gets too much, like your lettuce and what have you, it gets too much sun, your lettuce will go from being green to being gold, which means it's getting too much sun and it's going to end up killing it. So, you got to watch what direction, you put your garden, where you put your garden. If you have shade for your garden, so that, the sun is not directly on everything at all times.
And I'm finding out about shade tarps.
Yeah, I would do shade tarps.
Pulls them down, hang up higher.
Right.
Different angles.
You got to worry about the weeds that will grow in your garden as well, because a lot of those weeds can take over. So, you're out there tending to your garden, I wouldn't say every day, but you have to tend to it at least every day, because, like recently we haven't had a lot of rain. So you got to water your garden. You have to make sure your plants got, all the water that they need, not just from the rain. We went almost 15 days without rain. Your plants go 15 days without rain, they're not going to make it. They are definitely not going to make it. And it's a lot of things. Like I said, growing up, I have had a garden. I know pretty much a lot of things that I need to know, but there are still things that I need to learn. Some of the things that, we didn't plant when I was younger, we may want to plant now. You can't plant corn with the rest of your garden. You have to have that separate as well, because corn will take all the nutrients out of your soil. And you don't want that, because, your soil won't be good. It won't be good enough for it to produce the next season. So, those are some things that you have to watch for and make sure that, you pay attention, and so that, your crops.
Tell them about that trick with the trees.
Oh, we were watching this one YouTube, and they were saying that if you take a sapling from a tree and splice it to another tree that's already grown, and you wrap it, you splice the tree bark so you can open it up, and you put the sapling in there, and then you wrap it with saran wrap and you let it go, it'll create its own branch in a basically like a hybrid of whatever tree that you got it from, to the tree that you connected it to.
Yeah, that's something I was like, what in the world are they doing? They took the tree is here, they cut the bark like this and then peeled it back a little bit and took a sapling and stuck it in where they spliced it and then wrapped it real tight with cellophane, yeah. And they said that it'll make the tree more fruitful because it'll grow more branches then, because that tree will start growing out, it'll start growing its own branches. It'll grow bigger and then grow its own branches. So that's how the tree widens out. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I mean, camera call me, please. I'm like, what in the world are they doing? I've never seen anything like that in my life. And then she said about how, again, a garden, to me, you dig up some dirt, you till it, and you throw some seeds in the ground. And I found out that that's not how you do it. Now I find out, you got to figure out which way the sun comes up, which way it goes down, which way is when it's at the highest point. And that depends on if you face your garden east, west, north, or south, is where you get the most sunlight, but not all the direct sunlight. And if there's too much direct sunlight, to use shaders, or like the one guy said, he uses trees. He puts certain things by the edge of the garden where the trees are off there a little bit, so they'll give it shade every once in a while. I always thought the more sunlight, the better. Water and sun, that's what you needed. That's it. I didn't know that too much sun was bad. I knew too much sun was bad for me because, obviously, skin cancer, all that kind of stuff. But I never knew that, I always thought that, the more sun the plants got, the bigger they were going to be, the better they were going to be. But I guess it makes sense because obviously they have there's a heat tolerance level. You just, again, things you don't think about until you're placed with that thought process in this situation. And that's what makes this situation so much fun, is because it's all learning things that you may think but you don't know nothing about.
You may think you know it, but you definitely don't.
You definitely don't know anything about it. And that's fun. That's fun. There's a lot of things, and there's a big community of information out there now that, she learned from her grandfather, my grandmother, on my dad's side, she was a big gardener. We would pull weeds and stuff, but I didn't know what it was all entailed. There's lots of different things you can use to fertilize the garden, things you would think that weren't very good for it, things, I don't know, this stuff. I'm like, wow. And then, learning how to seed them, starter seeding.
Yeah, some things you have to use starters for. And they say that it's good to do starters because, like, you can plant them early, and then once they're ready to be planted, like when it's time for them to be planted, you can just take them out of the starter. You can take the whole thing that you use to start them, like the soil and stuff that you use to start them with, and you can just take that and you can just plant that in the ground because they already have the root system and everything. You put it in the ground, you cover it with dirt, you water it, and it's already started. All you got to do is just watch it grow.
Right, but that's part of it there, and then like I was learning again, what size, types of pipe you need to create water, extending water, from your well. Okay, so you have your main well, and then, you can branch off, not 10, 20, but depending on the size of your well, water hydrants and the size of pipe you need, and how, just different things like that. Digging your own septic, how far away from a house it has to be, how big of one you need, depending on how many people you have in your house. I always thought there was just septic was septic, one size fits all, I guess. I don't know. If you got full, you had someone come out and pump it out. You know what I mean? But for every 2 people, you need a certain footage that, that live in your household or that's going to be connected to that septic. There was a lot, and then you got all the framing, which I know a lot about that, but it's been years since I've done it. Drywalling, I was watching a guy do some drywalling the other day. Again, I've done that before, but again, it's been forever. So anything that you feel that is a refresher. We talked about, when we first moved, again, a learning experience, getting water bladders and having them filled. And then I'm like, I thought about it out of the blue. Okay, if we have a water bladder and we put it in the back of our van, or even if you have a truck and you fill up this big water bag, 100 and some gallons, water weighs 8 pounds a gallon. So you figure if you have 100 gallons, that's 800 pounds. You're not moving out of the back of the truck or the back of our van. So you want to put it in an IBC tote or a food grade IBC tote or a food grade barrel to store. How are you getting it there? So learn about water transfer pumps and, things like that. Like it was a lot to learn. Gardening was a lot of it for me because I grew up in the city. You know what I mean? Where your yards like they are here with us are 10 foot wide. You don't got enough room for a garden. You want to have what they call community gardens, where the community, the city, the borough or area that you live in, township, borough, whatever it is, would create their own community garden, and you go and help and volunteer, or whatever, and people are free to go and pick from it as they want. And that wasn't always a good thing, but it was still nice that they did that. Some people take advantage of it, or the kids go and destroy it, or you got a lot of them problems in the city. We're not going to have these problems anymore. So that's another reason why we want to do things like this. Get away from everything you learn, just like I said, and it's a whole big learning experience. There's a lot to learn. Learning about animals. I was learning last night certain chickens that are good with certain weather, certain chickens that have a higher temperament or a lower temperament. Because the one channel I watch, they have a rooster that likes to attack the wife, and she's so definitely afraid of this little rooster. I mean, he's just a little rooster. He's not even like a big bird. I mean, he's probably the size of maybe an 8-month-old cat. You know what I mean? He's not very big at all, and she's definitely afraid of it. So learning about which ones because we have Jackson. If my kids or Shane would bring his kids down, you know what I mean? I don't want animals that have a bad temperament with children. So you have to learn that part of it too. What kind of animals can we have? And Jackson's just he gets this from Trish, but he's in love with goats because he was on a field trip at school last year and the goat was eating his hair. And then we took him to the
Pittsburgh Zoo, and the goat was eating his hair.
They just love his, and they was trying to eat his shirt. Remember? But so he wants goats because he thinks they're going to be fun. I told him we're going to get one of them pigs like Dutch has, so he can ride it.
Right.
Them pigs are big enough. He could probably ride that thing.
He probably could.
And that's the other thing, learning about different breeds of animals. I being from 100% city growing up. I mean, we're in the city now, but it's a little less city than what I was in. I was in like literal downtown city. I always thought that male cows were the ones that had horns. You know what I mean? That it had horns, it was a male. And here to find out that certain breeds, male and female, have horns.
Longhorns. Male and female have
Longhorns. And what's that one you like? That everybody likes.
The Highlands.
Highlands.
Highlands, male and females both have horns.
They're so pretty.
Oh, Highland cows are so. Oh my God,
I mean, the pictures. I've only ever until I started watching Christian's favorite guy on YouTube. He has Longhorns and 2 Highlands. I've never seen a Highland in real life. I've only ever seen the pictures on the internet and things that people are always talking about. Highland cows are so cute, and they're like the in thing. But them pictures do them no justice.
Oh, they're so cute.
No justice at all. In real life, they are so much cuter than they look in them pictures. And then, learning the temperament of those types of cows. Which ones he has more than just Highlands and Longhorns. He has some other different types. Black-faced he had one point in time. There's so many different types of cows. Learning the difference between a steer, a bull, a heifer and a cow. Like, you know, a steer is a bull that has been snipped, if you know what I mean. Neutered, because I can use that word without, you know, being demonetized.
Right.
Okay, and a bull has not been neutered. So a steer is more like
it's like you're feeding it's
like
your
feeder cow.
You grow it to process it.
You grow for food, right? A bull you use to mate, to breed, and then there's, you know, a cow is a female cow that's not had children. You know what I mean? Had babies, not children. I guess I can say children, but a heifer is a cow that is
that's already been bred.
Has been bred once or twice and has had successful cow, you know, births. You know, some baby cows. I'm trying to think of what's the name of a baby cow. You know what I mean? Like
a baby cow is a calf.
Yeah, calf. That's what I was looking for. And then, you know, then there's yearlings, which is obviously a year
there or so before. Yeah, yearlings are
before they can be bred and or you know, processed, what have you. You know, different things that they eat. That they, you know, a lot of protein in their food. I never realized how much protein they eat.
Donkeys are protectors.
Yes, donkeys are very big protectors.
Like they will, if another animal smells donkey urine, they will not come near where it's at for some reason.
So people put donkeys in with their cows or sometimes goats.
Donkeys will mess up. If something tries to come in, a donkey will protect whatever it's in there with.
Yeah, it's like a guardian livestock dog.
It's like a guardian.
And if another animal comes in there and tries to mark its territory by, you know, going to the bathroom, a donkey will poop on top of it, so it scares it away and
covers the
scent so they can't smell it themselves. That was pretty like wild to me. I never knew. You know, and we're not talking like full size, you know, donkeys. They're like minis almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're half the size of a full size donkey. You're not talking about like a pack mule. You know what I mean? You're talking they're a little smaller, and you know, they have a good temperament. The ones that I've seen so far. I mean, of course, any animal can have, you know, its on days, its off days. You know what I mean? But with hopefully someday having grandkids, Shane bringing down, you know, the other kids and the grandkids there, and you know, hopefully my kids, you know, start popping out some grandkids there eventually. Hint, you know, want to have some, you know, want to know what's temperament, kid friendly, you know. I want them to, you know, especially, you know, Jackson and all the other kids, I want them to experience that. I don't, you know, want to be like, oh, you can't go in there, you know. He's 8 years old. This is a big deal.
But with any animal that you have, even if they have a good temperament, you still got to watch.
Oh yeah, there's always a safety.
There's always a safety risk with any animal, whether it be from your family dog to your family cow.
Yeah, because Jackson thinks Odin's a wrestling buddy, you know, and I told you know, and Odin wouldn't. You can do whatever he wants to Odin. Odin wouldn't hurt Jackson if you paid him. Jackson could pull on Odin's ears and rip one off, and Odin would just look at him like, "Can I have that back?"
Listen, Odin is the best guard dog in the world.
Oh yeah, he's such a big guard dog. You come in.
I come in every morning after work,
and he's laying on the couch.
And he's laying on the couch. He lifts his head this far off my pillow and then lays it back down.
If he even moves at all. You know, I mean, listen, he probably would help you carry the stuff out if you tried to steal something out of my house.
Right? He'd probably help you look for it.
You know, he's like, oh, it's over here, guys. Come on. You know what I mean? Can I get a treat for that?
Right.
Can I get a treat for that?
Right. And he'll take it and he'll drop it and walk away from it anyways.
Right. Yeah. He's goofy. But, yeah, like I was learning about barn cats. I'm not a cat person. You know, I'm not against cats. I just never was a real big cat person.
No.
You know, barn cats, you know, how you train barn cats to stay around, how you get them to, you know, keep up on the vermin around the homestead, and then they live in that barn. And I you know, I asked Trisha and watched some videos on it. Like, do you put out a litter box for these barn cats, and are they just like considered feral? And I, you know, found out they're just considered feral cats that you kind of like. Stay on your homestead. You feed and stay on your homestead. You take care of because they take care of you. that was new for me. I, again, growing up in the city, guarding livestock dogs, I'd never seen. Now, we had hunting dogs. My pap was a big duck hunter and goose hunter and quail. So we had beagles and certain ones he kept out. They were only hunting dogs. They stayed outside all year long. They weren't family pets. They were hunting dogs. That's what they knew. That's what they loved. But I never heard of a dog, being, having in a pen with cows or in a pen with chickens, in a pen with goats 24/7 and like protecting the animals. I always figured, the dogs, they run free and, do what they want, but they come in the house at night, you know what I mean? But that's when all your,
like your wolves and your
and
fox, your mountain lions, when that, at nighttime is when all that comes out. And that's what these dogs are basically meant to do. They are meant to chase them away, protect your livestock, make sure that no harm comes to, it's, and believe me, Odin would not make a good one.
No, definitely not.
Odin would want to play with whatever came.
Right, that's for sure.
Like, you have no idea.
Right, he's one of a kind. If you guys go into the community section on our page, there's a poll in there. I can't get it right now because I'm on my phone and it's being goofy, but there's a poll in there that asks you some questions. What would be one thing you'd like to learn? First thing you'd like to learn on Homestead? If you could, just click on it. It helps the channel. YouTube's really pushing the community page pretty hard. So I'd like to post on the community page. Keep an eye out for that. If you see it, just, comment in the community page, say something, anything. Click on one of the polls. I have a couple polls coming up, different things. I'll ask poll questions and we'll do question and answers or whatever. Comments. Guys, I really appreciate everybody that's joining us every live. I appreciate everybody that's watching our videos. I appreciate everybody that's giving us thumbs up and commenting. We are at 65 subscribers right now, which I know isn't hundreds of thousands or millions or, we're not getting a plaque for it, but to us, that's a big accomplishment.
It's a very big accomplishment.
I was pretty geeked. We were pretty geeked when we saw it hit the 60s, You have to get the charger. Oh
shit.
Sorry.
My bad.
We lost the picture there for a minute. Move on. Gotta go get my laptop charger. It's going out. But like I said, there's a lot to learn, and it's it's fun. It's fun to learn some of these things because, especially when you didn't know them. When you didn't know something and you learned it, it's even more fun because that makes it more interesting. I know, at least for me, it makes it more interesting because I want to learn and I want to, take in as much knowledge as possible. And, I've taught my kids that way, but learning it's not school learning. So you learn on your own levels, your own times, you figure things out your way. And it's fun that way. And it's something different, something new, and it's something that we're creating for ourselves, for our families. It goes over here, I believe.
No, it doesn't. It goes over here.
Oh, there's one over there, too. I didn't know what that was over there. Plug it in the laptop. I don't know where, Trish takes the laptop with her every night to work, so sometimes I don't get to see it. I'm looking into buying a junky one. I got to find a cheap one, just dedicated for YouTube videos and editing, because my edits aren't the greatest right now because I don't have like a very good editing software. Because my computer right now, my laptop right now can't hold a lot. Trish does a lot of her cup works on there. Cup works. Her cups that she works on there, designs.
I was to say I can go grab one. I know I've been up and down. I can grab one and show you guys.
You're not showing them the new one, are you?
No,
that's kind
of that one's personal. That one's personal.
She makes tumblers, coffee cups, license plates, anything you can think of, signs, T-shirts, pants. She's really good at it too. I mean, we don't have a merch channel yet, but We don't have a merch channel. We don't have any merch on this channel yet, but we will soon. But if anybody's interested in finding out about what she has, our email's in the description. You can message me there, and anything you want. I mean, she can put anything you want on t-shirts, cups, coffee cups, tumblers. We have the ones like the one she's getting ready to show you. This is the sports drink one. No.
Yes,
you call it sports.
It's a sports bottle.
Sports bottle. It has the.
It's got the lid. Oh wait, sorry guys.
It's got the lid.
The lid.
It flips
you
up and
open
down.
it. It comes with a straw. Put the straw in the bottom of the lid.
Yeah, like this. It goes in like this, and then your straw goes up and down. Ooh, straw goes up and down, and then that's the skull one. Yeah.
Sorry guys.
If you want me to do it, because the light's on your side.
Yeah, the lights is on.
There, yeah. Like she said, we created this design. I gave her the skull, and she did all the background and all this, and it's really nice. Then she has another one. Oh, that one there is pretty too.
And this one is like a coffee cup.
This one's like a coffee cup. You have the top that slides open and closed, and then you have your little hole there to drink out of.
It comes with a straw and a straw cleaner.
Straw cleaner. What's it say?
Oh, it says here. I'll just read it. It says butterflies appear when angels are near, and I made that background myself as well.
Yeah, it's a butterfly. If you can't tell. But like I said, we have all kinds of different designs. We don't mind shipping if you're, not near us, obviously. But we do a lot of those. Something she's been working on for years and years and years. Jackson and he wants a Juice World shirt. We got to work on that. Oh, no, he wants a Jey Uso shirt too.
He wants a Jey Uso shirt too.
Trish made him some Fortnite shirts and pants and made me a couple cups. Should have brought that one in, the blue one, the blue skull. I like that one's my favorite one. Or the TJ Watt one. For your sports fans out there, even though I might not like some of your teams, we'll still make it for you out there, and we won't, as long as you're not a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm just kidding. If you're not a Baltimore Ravens fan, there you go. I'm a Steelers fan. You can't be a Baltimore Ravens fan. No, she'd make anything because she don't care. Oh, your sunflower. Turn that light off once, maybe, because it's.
I think it's this one.
Here's her sunflower. No, it's coming from the window. Oh, there's her sunflower. She just loves herself some sunflowers. So I'm sure between her and Tina together, we'll be having tons of sunflowers in our garden. And then this is the one I like. This is one of my favorites I use every day. If you're into skulls, too fast there. It's got the nice little background, lightning. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, this is the one we made this for Jackson for one Fortnite season, one of his favorite Fortnite seasons. Oh, the M&M Fortnite season. It was pretty cool. Turn it back on.
Was that better?
No. He likes that kind of stuff. But like I said, any design, you can think of, she can probably put it on a cup, coffee cup, a mug, a license plate, a sign, pictures. If you want, we can do pictures on them. She just did pictures for a friend of ours. Mm-hmm. Of course, got to have the JJ Watt. I don't have the TJ Watt one yet.
That's TJ.
I mean JJ. I get them confused. Sorry, my mouth's running and not thinking. There's TJ. That's the boy. Right there. Trisha's other boyfriend.
Oh, I love me some TJ.
And then like I said, we pretty much make. She makes pretty much anything.
I've made license plates. I've made.
Right, and then also my son's girlfriend makes them also. So if she can't make it, I'm sure Brittany can make it. Brittany does a lot of that stuff too. She has a Facebook page also. Trish, what's your Facebook page? Trisha's what?
Oh, Trisha Lynn's Creations.
It's Trisha, Trisha, Lynn, Lin, Creations. It's on Facebook, and then Brittany's is
Brittany's Teas.
Brittany's Teas on Facebook. If you guys want to check that out, they're both very good at it. You know what I mean? And no, I don't mind shouting out my son's girlfriend, fiance. You know, even though she does the same thing. Listen, that's family. You know what I mean? If I'm eating, you're eating. You know, we take care of each other around here. Ain't that right, Trish? Oh, you just stole her seat. Come on, Odin.
He's fine.
Oh no, come on. He likes to say hi. Oh, you being bashful today, Odin? You being bashful? Jackson's going to see this. You know that. Jackson's going to see this. Yeah, he is. He's going to say hi, Odin. He always asks me, "Where's Odin at, Dad? Can you show me a picture of Odin?" But yeah, like I said, guys, there's a lot of things that go into it, and we're willing to learn it all. And we're glad to have you guys along the way. It's been amazing so far. Journey, and this journey has just begun. It's only going to get better from here. Content's going to get better. Things are going to get better. We only have a few months left until we want to get moving. We're hoping for the end of May when school lets out. Beginning of summer, so we still have, like I said before in past videos, we have time to figure out what we're going to do for the winter. Because summer you can pretty much do whatever you want. It makes summer makes it nice because you don't have to have a whole lot of everything, shelter wise. A tent, we have a big tent. If you didn't see the video, it's in the collections list. It's on the page. Go ahead and view it. Believe me, that tent is huge. You could fit a whole family in there if you wanted to. Literally a whole family. I mean, a family of 6 could probably fit in there and still be, we went camping. We had your bed, Jack's bed, TV, stand, my chair,
the dog cage,
boxes, all kinds of different stuff. I know we have the screen tent we have to show you up to. We have a couple videos we have to make, but this rain has just been killing us. Then we have that big canopy now we bought.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another 10x10 canopy we put, outside of our tent for shade. There's a lot of things be going on, like I said, and this new generator is going to be coming. Going to go pick that up, probably the 3rd. Excited about that. And then we'll be working on getting the solar generator, and which we have one already, but it's only 600 watt. We want to get one like at least an 1800 watt solar generator and buy some solar panels and, do some things like that. There's going to be a lot of work to be done. And we'd love for you guys to follow along. It's been amazing so far. We've made a lot of friends and family. So far I've been on here and new people. And guys, listen, tell all your friends, get on here. Tell them about Homestead. Tell them to check it out on Facebook. I mean, Facebook, you can check it out on Facebook also. Tell them to check it out on YouTube. We're on Facebook and YouTube. I also have a Facebook page of the Country Called Us. It's on Facebook also. Specifically just for the channel. Like I said, there's going to be a lot to come. Trisha's got a lot of stuff that she wants to do. Now she's getting back into it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's that time of year, where the weather's starting to get colder and we'll start doing more things in the house.
Right.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, so we got a lot of content to make and a lot of things we can show you. Again, if anybody's interested in her making anything, t-shirts, pants, cups, anything you can probably think of, she can probably make. Or we can figure out how to make it. So it's in the email there, or go to the Country Called Us Facebook page, or leave a comment, leave it in the comments here. And we'll get back to you. No biggie. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. We will be back probably next Thursday again. I'll put out a community post. Keep an eye out for the community post, guys. Like I said, tell your friends about these videos. Tell your friends to come subscribe, come join, come like, come hang out with us. We're just average people trying to do average things on a budget, start a whole new life at this age we are. I know it's crazy, but we're not professionals. We don't try to be professionals. I know sometimes. Good night. Thank you very much. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed having you too. We're not professionals and we don't try to be professionals. So some of our videos may not look like some of the higher profile videos, and they probably never will, even later down the line. They'll always be, just Average
Just
Joe,
us.
just average Joe videos. You know what I mean? So thanks a lot for hanging out, guys, tonight. We're going to take off. Appreciate everything. I think it's dinner time, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. But we'll be on next week. I'll put out a post in the community post. I'll put out a post on Facebook ahead of time. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends to stop by.
And in the words of Jackson,
peace out.
And have a nice day.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. Thanks a lot.